So, Lee Circle Part 2 coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logical Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, here I am back at Lee Circle. This was the subject of a lot of controversy back when the left were on their, remove the Civil War era monuments craze. Well, as you can see, there was generally statue has been removed from this, and it's later since been renamed Harmony Circle. But I remember asking the question back then, once the statue was taken down and all the other Civil War era monument statues were under attack, this was one of 4 statues that were actually taken down here in the city of New Orleans. But back then I was asking, what good is that going to do? Are black people today, we're going to be better off because the statues were removed? And I remember saying, no, it's not going to make any difference for black people in America. Black folks are going to be no better or worse because these statues were removed. And since black folks had gotten any better at all, now I again ask the question, are black folks making any progress now, or have black folks are getting any better now? And that's the question is absolutely no. Nothing has changed. And nothing is changing with black folks because in most cases, black folks just simply don't want to be changed. They want to be victims, and then they keep letting these race hustlers con them into being victims. But black folks are not better off at all because the General Lee statue was removed, not remotely. In some cases, we're probably worse off because we see a lot of these race hustlers are doubling down on the stupidity, and they're basically pushing more of it. Now, I will say this though, what I'm seeing more and more happening is that more and more black folks are starting to wake up now. I noticed that because, you go to a lot of these YouTube channels, basically these channels out here, and these race hustler channels, and you'll see a lot of people will be opposed to them. For instance, all of these people putting up all of these content about Candace Owens, these leftists. If you go to the channels, and you'll see probably half the people being there defending Candace Owens. So black folks are starting to wake up. But the thing is that kills me is that this is the street in the background. This is St. Charles Avenue, and this is a popular street in the city of New Orleans. And of course, this is a street known for Mardi Gras route. This is the famous St. Charles Avenue Mardi Gras route, and many people have stood here for decades. The statue has been up for decades, and people have stood here at Lee Circle, or I still say Lee Circle, and have watched many parade routes travel down this area, and nobody had any problem for decades. Now all of a sudden, they let these leftists can con them and convince them that they should be offended now by a statue. That's our history. And the thing that kills me is that you take the statues down, crying about racism this, racism that, but then you keep crying about the history. So why take down the statues that supposedly remind us of a bad history if you keep talking about the history? Because you're never going to forget the history if you keep talking about it and you keep trying to live through it. That's ridiculous. This is why I say all of this is just nonsense, and it's just more stupidity from the left, defaming all these statues. Of course, this was the whole reason for the Charlottesville incident that, of course, get blamed on the white supremacists, right? The both sides of white supremacy nonsense. But like I said, black folks, we aren't going to get any better in this country by constantly being victims and making up nonsense and finding excuses to lose our mind, like statues and monuments of a time period that was our history that we shouldn't forget, because then some of these race hustlers, these blacks, will be the first person to say, well, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And we don't want to forget history, because it's not good to forget history. But then you're taking out statues. Again, just makes absolutely no sense with these people. They are the very embodiment of hypocrisy and insanity. Anyway, y'all, like I said, black people today, even now, after some years after the statue was taken down, we're no better off. Not at all. Now, like I said, black folks are starting to wake up, but that has nothing to do with the statue. That has to do with, again, just being constantly exposed to the leftist nonsense, and then having people like me and other tell them to speak the truth on it. Say, hey, that's not the case. Wake up. Stop listening to these people. Snap out of the trance. So I'm glad to see that so many blacks are waking up, but we still got a long way to go. Anyway, y'all, this is my 2 cents on this, and black folks are still no better off all these years after the removal of the statue. And as always, y'all, until next time.